And now, Move the Sticks with Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks.
What's up, everybody? DJ Bucky here with Move the Sticks. And, Buck, we got the Combine coming up.
Yeah.
But today, we're not just going to focus on the Combine, because next week, we're going to be in Indianapolis, and we're going to have a show from Indianapolis, kind of preview the whole Combine. So if you're jonesing for some Combine stuff, hold on. We'll have that for you next week.
Yeah, but I'm excited about this show because this is a nice little thing that we're putting together. My man Will, a.k.a. Luke Walton, has put together a nice little script, nice little game plan for us going in. He's going out with a bang.
All right, let's shoot. Will, are you on the mic back there? Can you give us real quick what we got coming up on the show? Because we have got a jam-packed show. Maybe more excited about this one than anyone we've ever done. Will, what we got?
Yeah, so we have we are going to draft the rosters that we would want for the next 5 seasons.
Okay.
Filled with young talent, who's up and coming. Then we are going to build a basketball team with the new wide receivers that are coming out of the college game, and then we are going to have reveal your mock draft 2.0. Both of you guys.
Yeah, so we're going to have a lot of stuff to get to in this episode, and then next week we'll get more specific on actually what's going to take place in Indianapolis, Buck. But let's jump in right here at the top with drafting these future rosters. So what we're saying here is you get to inherit this roster for the next 5 years. So to me, it's kind of you want a young, talented team, but you want a team maybe not even be for next year, but maybe it's the last 3 years of this 5-year window. You could go on a nice little run. But either way, we're going to get 5 picks apiece, and being the gentleman that I am, and being an App State guy and a little bit of an inferior complex, you being the big, University of North Carolina star. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to.
We had a dunk off. We had a dunk off before the show. They didn't get a chance to see it.
That's true.
And I happened to win because I got a 50 and you got a 49.
Yeah, and my Nerf ball was flat. So, anyways, go ahead, Buck. You go up first. You have your choice. We have a list of teams we've kind of compiled to choose from. You see here
nice
up
graphic.
on the screen.
How about that?
We got some fancy graphics, man. We don't mess around. But I'm going to let you go first here, choosing from this team. What we got? 3, 6, 9. We got 12 teams to choose from here, Buck.
I'm going to go right out the gate. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings as my top pick. I believe the Minnesota Vikings are positioned to be a team that's going to be the bully in the NFC for a long time. When you look at the building blocks that they have in place, all are young and dynamic, but you still have the veteran presence in Adrian Peterson. As I'm building this team, I'm going to talk about their offense first. I got Adrian Peterson, so that gives me the security of knowing that I can run the ball, I can play physical football, I can control the clock, and kind of put my stamp on the brand in terms of how we're going to play with the physicality and toughness. I have a young quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater who the numbers suggest that he's a game manager, but I'm fine with that because the way we're playing, we're going to be fine. Stephon Diggs, Kyle Rudolph. I have 2 playmakers in the passing game, not to mention Mike Wallace on the outside stretching the field. But what I'm really excited about is what we have on defense. Everson Griffin, Linval Joseph.
Eric Kendricks, Anthony
Kendricks.
Barr. The list goes on.
So many young players that can play.
Harrison Smith is still a young guy.
Growing together. Harrison Smith, there you talk about. We haven't even got Trey Waynes on the field yet. And so this is a team that I think is positioned to be a team that is going to be a dominant team in the NFC because they play champion-style football, and they have young guys that continue to grow that allow them to continue to be a team that rings it.
I like that pick. I actually talked to a coach the other day and said, I don't know if people realize just how talented this Minnesota team is. And they kind of, got by the Green Bay Packers, won that division, but that is a team that's poised to make a nice little run over the next 5 years. I respect that pick, Buck, but I am excited you left me a team here because I got so many I want to choose from, but I'm going to go Tampa Bay with my first overall pick.
How about that? The Bucks.
And when I look at the Bucks, you obviously start there at the quarterback position. They've got that secure. Jameis Winston's 21 years old. Had a nice, solid rookie season, 4,000-yard passer. Now you're going to see him continue to develop. They've got a young offensive line in place with 2 rookies last year. Donovan Smith at left tackle, who I think is got a chance to be a really, really strong player at that position. You've got Ali Marpetti, young guard to work with. You've got Mike Evans, who had a little bit of a down year last year, is a young wide receiver. He's only 22 years old, Buck. And then when we go to the defensive side of the ball, you've got Levante David, who's still young. Quan Alexander, I think, was legitimate defensive rookie of the year candidate before that 4-game suspension. And then you still got some other pieces in place there as well. When you look at our defensive tackle, McCoy, who's got a lot of ability. So there are some good young pieces in place there. I like the Tampa Bay Bucks, especially maybe in the back end of that 5-year window. I think they're going to be a nice little run.
I think they have a chance to be special. I'm in love with the quarterback. I think the quarterback is a real dude. I think he's going to lead them to the winner's circle. You talk about the perimeter players and Mike Evans being able to get it. Doug Martin, if they resign him or if they go in the draft, I think the pieces are in place. Dirk Cutter continue to be around to take that offense to the next level. That's a very, very good pick. Nice pick, but not quite as nice as the pick that I'm going to select. I'm going to go with the St. Louis Rams.
Okay.
Whoa, hold up. Wait, let me back that up. I said the St. Louis Rams. It's the
L.A.
LA
Rams.
The
That's
LA
tough to get used to
Rams
that.
are my pick with my second pick, and part of the reason I am fascinated by the Rams, it starts with defense. Look, we saw the Super Bowl, defense wins championships. That front line that they have, Robert Quinn, Michael Brockers, Chris Long, Aaron Donald, maybe one of the best players in football on the defense side of the ball, outstanding. You still go to the second level, Alec Ogletree.
They got a couple of free agent corners now. Tremaine Johnson.
Tremaine Johnson is a nice guy.
Janoris Jenkins is a free agent as well.
You like those guys. On offense, they put together a young offensive line that can push the ball and control the attack. But then you got the running back. You have Todd Gurley. You have probably the next great running back in the National Football League anchoring that attack. And then you have a complimentary gadget player in Tavon Austin. The one thing that is missing, the one thing that prevents –
kind of an important piece here, Buck.
I mean –
kind of a big deal.
I mean, unless you're completely sold on Case Keenum.
Come on.
The quarterback situation is the only thing that prevented me from taking them number one because all the other pieces are there. If they can get a quarterback in the draft, maybe they get a guy. I think this is a team. You talk about Minnesota being a bully. L.A. is going to be right there with them.
Well, Buck, I like all the talent they have in that team, but I look at the quarterbacks represented by those other choices you had to make, and I think it's a joke when you try and compare the Los Angeles Rams against all these guys.
I have the draft.
You're going to roll with Paxton Lynch, huh?
I don't know. Maybe we'll move up. We're not afraid to make trades. Maybe we'll move up.
Maybe you sign RG3, just kind of bring him in there.
How about that?
Yeah, bring him in there.
Full circle. Bring him back.
Everything comes back together.
Everything full circle. We run some of those things. But on a serious about the L.A. Rams, like defensively, they have everything that you want. If they can just solve the quarterback situation and find a guy that can make enough plays to
– You don't need a great quarterback, just a functional guy.
Just a functional quarterback. I think they are positioned to be a team that is always in the conversation as one of the teams that will be the last one standing.
All right, so you go with the Rams. I'm going to come back. I'm going to go Jacksonville Jaguars with my next one here. And this young offense that they've assembled here with David Caldwell, when you look at Blake Bortles at quarterback, who had a nice year this past year, you've got those three receivers, really four. You throw Rashad Green in there, who played really well last year. But you've got a legitimate number one in Allen Robinson, who is, Allen Robinson, Buck, he can't be that old here.
He has to be young.
Allen Robinson's 22 years old. You got on the defensive side of the ball, we've got some work to do there. But you go back to the offense. T.J. Yeldon's young, came into his own last year.
Over 1,000 scrimmage yards.
Offensive line, you got a couple. Lindler I like is a good player. A.J. Cann, good young interior offensive lineman. They've got some pieces up front. Defensively, get Dante Fowler back. They have a top pick this year. They can add some more talent there. But I just think this offense is poised to be one of the best offenses in the National Football League. And unlike your L.A. Rams, Buck, they've got a quarterback.
They do have a quarterback. The quarterback is playing pretty well coming out the gate. They have a running back in T.J. Yeldon, who I think is like the next version of Le'Veon
Robinson, Hearns.
I mean, they can be problematic. They have to fix the defense, but really when you look at their offense is so good that you can kind of play a different style of defense with that team because typically you're so explosive on offense. You're going to play with a lead. They need to acquire some passion.
My man Telvin Smith, don't forget about him too at linebacker.
Really good player.
Yeah,
That's
a good young core they've got. They need to get some more guys up front, get after the quarterback, improve that secondary a little bit, and they've got a good team. All right, we're through a couple rounds here, Buck. Let's roll on to round number 3. Who you got?
Well, I got to go back. I got to go back to where I played it. I'm going to go with the Oakland Raiders.
Oh, you're just trying to pacify Raider Nation, man.
I'm trying to make up. They're so mad at me.
I want to hear what you better say a lot of nice things about Khalil Mack.
I'm not going to talk about him. I'm not going to talk about him in the discussion because they're so mad at me that I won't even talk about the artist formerly known as Khalil Mack. I'll leave him alone. But I will say this about this team. And looking at this offense, Reggie McKenzie, Jack Del Rio, they have done a good job of assembling playmakers and putting them in position to make plays on the perimeter. The quarterback, Derek Carr, has exceeded everyone's expectations. Second-round pick coming in, playing like a franchise quarterback. You saw the numbers, almost 4,000 passing yards. 32 touchdowns is ridiculous for a young player. Then you give him a number one receiver in Amari Cooper, who's showing up. Michael Crabtree is still on the outside. He's 28 years old, so that's a 1-2 punch on the outside. Latavius Murray, I'm not necessarily a guy that believes that Latavius Murray is a franchise running back, but for them, he's been a workhorse. He's dynamic. He is a straight-line runner who can make some big plays. I like what they're positioned to do. On defense, I said I won't mention it, but look. Khalil Mack, 15 sacks, exceeded my expectations in terms of how he would be a house wrecker off the edge. Ken Norton Jr. has done a great job of putting him at left defensive end and allowing him to wreak havoc on right tackles. They have Mario Edwards Jr., who was playing like gangbusters. When Khalil Mack was having that run where he had 11 sacks in 4 games, Mario Edwards Jr. was controlling the inside, making it very easy for Mack to work. They still need to do some work in the secondary and the back end. They're going to miss Charles Woodson. They still need some corners that can get it done. But in terms of being a team that's well positioned,
All right, Raider Nation's off your back. You got them off your back.
That can be.
We don't need to go. We're going to go to their kickers now, Buck. I mean, goodness gracious, they got
Seabass.
team. Oh my God,
Seabass.
All right, I'm moving on. I'm cranking up the speed right here. Carolina Panthers, my next pick, Bucky, and that to me, look. You look at the key positions. You look at the quarterback position.
You try to make up for them after you.
No, they owe me one. I picked them to win the Super Bowl. But Cam Newton, to me, you got the quarterback position taken care of. Got some youth there. He's only 26 years old. Luke Kuechly, arguably the best linebacker in the National Football League. You make a case the best defensive player that's not J.J. Watt in the National Football League. He's 24 years old. Josh Norman still got to get him signed. He's still in his mid-20s. So you've got some good young pieces there. K'Wan Short, Starla Tulele up front on the defensive line. They've got a good piece there, but the quarterback, the reason why I go with the Panthers. Let's speed up as we go rounds 4 and 5, Buck. We still got some good teams to choose from.
I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers deserve to be in the conversation. Obviously, when you look at their offense, Big Ben is a little older, but Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Martavis Bryant, Marcus Wheaton, you can light up scoreboards all over the league. When you look at the defense side of the ball, Ryan Shazier, Lawrence Timmons, they have some nice young pieces to build around. Mike Tomlin has done a good job developing that. Add to it, they're going to be a team that's always in the conversation.
All right, you go Steelers. I'm going to go Seahawks. I mean, we forget about the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson's only 27 years old. We saw Thomas Rawls, 22 years old, what he could do. Doug Baldwin really emerged as a number 1 wide receiver last year, put up huge numbers. He's 27 years old. We go Richard Sherman, 27. KJ Wright, 26. Earl Thomas is only 26 years old. Bobby Wagner's only 25. I think I got a steal here, but I probably should have taken Seattle a little bit higher than I did.
I mean, that's a nice roster.
That's a nice list of names I just rattled off right there.
That is a nice list of names. You lose Beast Mode, so I still believe they got to find a replacement for him. Some would say Thomas Rawls, that guy. But that is a very, very nice roster that John Snyder and his staff.
Need some young offensive linemen, but that's something we can work with here. All right.
I'm glad you brought up offensive
round.
line. Because of the offensive line, that's why I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys with my 5th and final pick. You talk about building a house, make sure the foundation is secure. That offensive line. Tyron Smith, La'el Collins, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin. You talk about guys that I think you have probably 4 Pro Bowl players on that offensive line. I think they have a chance to be special on that vein. Outside, Dez Bryant being probably like a top 5 wide receiver. Terrence Williams and Cole Beasley being nice compliments. I know the quarterback is older. You have to address that and get a younger quarterback in place. But they're plenty good enough on offense to get you there. On offense. On defense, they got some young players. Randy Gregory, I think, is going to be a good player. Tyron Crawford, DeMarcus Lawrence. I think this team is positioned to be a very, very good team in the NFC East. I look for them to be there for.
All right, I'm going to copycat in terms of the older quarterback. I'm going to go Arizona Cardinals with my final pick here. And, look, I know Carson Palmer's a little bit long in the tooth. Obviously did not play well at the end there in the postseason. But when I look at this team, Honey Badger's still young, coming off injury, but he's an elite player at his position.
Absolutely.
David Johnson was gangbusters last year as a running back. They've still got some other young players on the outside on the offense. You've got some young players. DJ Humphries didn't play a snap last year. Now, he's a developmental player, but has a big upside. Hopefully they get something out of him at the tackle position. But Dayon Buchanan, who's been a tackle machine, is 23 years old. They've got a lot of nice pieces to work with there. But to me, really, David Johnson, I think, is going to emerge as a real superstar in this league.
Nice find for them, being able to find a big back that can not only run it but can catch it out the backfield. Does a lot for that offense. Excited to see what Bruce Arians does to get them going. Recapping my –
Hold up real quick before you recap. I just want to see just a personal thing. Can you give me a little John Brown dance?
No.
Come on, man.
I don't have any.
Thank you. That's all I was looking for. That's my
know if I have
favorite thing.
any
Bucky's great at personnel, but his John Brown dance impersonation, that's my favorite deal. All right, go ahead. Back to what you're saying. Recap.
Recapping my 5 teams that I want to go if I'm building a team or future rosters. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings 1, LA Rams 2, Oakland Raiders 3, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Dallas Cowboys. Rounding out the list. I like that squad. I like what I have on my team.
I've got the quarterbacks here. We look at Jameis Winston, Blake Bortles, Cam Newton, Russell Wilson, and then Arizona Cardinals. Look, Carson Palmer didn't have a whole lot left in the tank, but there's some good young players there. That's my squad. So, Buck, I look at your squad. I look at my squad.
My squad's better.
I know. I think my squad's better. But I want the people that are watching on YouTube, go ahead and use that comment section and let us know who you think won this one. Which roster would you want going forward for the next 5 years? The 5 Bucky's assembled, which are okay, or mine, the good 5 there.
Yeah, you have all quarterbacks and no offensive linemen.
All right. Fun little exercise here with Bucky. All right, Buck, let's move on now. We talk about building a basketball team of receivers, and this is something that Coach Billick, who we love, who came on with us each and every week on the show, would always talk about that. And I think he referenced a couple different teams. I know Cincinnati, he had talked about kind of having a basketball team. Pittsburgh was another team having a basketball team, meaning you've got all different sizes and shapes.
Yeah, a very
Super
diverse unit, meaning that you have a speed receiver, you have a big body receiver that can control it, you have a dominant red zone weapon, and someone who can move the chains, kind of move the sticks.
Thank you, Buck.
Move the sticks in terms of working between the hashes, being the possession receiver. You want to make sure that you have differing styles in your receiver core because you can give the defense a bunch of different looks.
All right, let's do it with this upcoming draft class of wide receivers, Buck. Let's try and put a team together. It's like an all-tournament team. All right?
All-tournament.
Let's start off here at the point guard position. Who we got playing the one, Buck?
I'm going to go with Will Fuller from Notre Dame. Will Fuller's the guy that I'm going to have be my point guard because I want an explosive guy, a guy that is quick, that's dynamic, has home run speed, can take the top off of defense. There's no one better in the collegiate game than Will Fuller at doing that. Yes, I understand that he has some drop issues. He's going to drop the ball. He's not going to make every catch. But we saw how the kind of impact that Ted Ginn Jr. had on the Carolina Panthers. Building this basketball team, I want someone who can affect it with their speed and scare people. Will Fuller is the best in the collegiate game of being able to scare people with his speed.
Yeah, you want to be able to play the transition game, get up and down. Will Fuller can get up and down.
Up and down like the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, you can get some big plays. And, again, I keep coming back. There's certain plays that just get etched in your mind. Adoree Jackson from USC,
Absolutely.
who we know can run. The track star for the Trojans, long jump, phenom. First play of the game, right by him, Buck. And it wasn't close.
I mean, he's a home run threat. So we talk about the three ball, being able to hit those big plays. My analytics fans understand how threes outweigh twos. I'm going to go with Will Fuller because he's going to put sevens on the board.
All right, we got Will Fuller starting at the one. Our shooting guard, I'm going to go Corey Coleman from Baylor. I know we both are big fans of his game. You want somebody at the two guard that can light it up, can put points up on the board in a hurry. Corey Coleman can do that. And also I like kind of the toughness and the grittiness he has at that two-guard position. You talk about somebody that can go up and compete, go to the rim if you want to say. He can do that for a guy that's a little bit undersized. I like the feistiness, the competitiveness he brings to the table.
You know, if this was an and-one mixtape, we're talking about the street ball tour. This is a guy that I think is an isolation player. He can go one-on-one. He can win against anybody. The speed, the explosiveness, to be able to make plays on catch and run, plays on the outside. He is terrific. You talk about 20-plus touchdowns in the college game. That is crazy. Big-time player. I like him at number 2.
Give me an NBA comp, Buck. I'm going Joe Dumars. I'm going old school. That's what I'm
Joe Dumars.
Joe Dumars.
I think he's a little more dynamic than that.
Yeah, but Joe's tough. I just like that. I like that.
I mean, he is a feisty, very, very competitive dude.
All right, I had to go old school. That tells you I haven't watched a lot of NBA lately. I had to go back to Joe Dumars. All right, let's go here. Playing the 3, small forward. Where are we leaning here, Buck?
I'm going to go with Josh Dotson from TCU. I know the big thing in the NBA right now is the D and 3 from your small forward spot. Someone that can lock you up, someone also that can shoot the 3. So in the college game and football, we're talking about being able to put the ball in the paint, being able to score touchdowns. This guy had 29 career touchdowns, a jump ball specialist. He can go up and get it. We talk about those alley-oop plays that we like to see in the red zone. Josh Dotson does that. Not the fastest, but he has a knack of finding a way to score points. That's who I want in my 3.
So now I'm just trying to rack my brain for like a 90s small forward that I like.
A 90s small forward. I mean, what do you want? Dale Ellis? Something like that? Someone that just line up and just shoot. We're just going to shoot threes all day. I mean,
you drop a Dale Ellis on me?
Stretch 4. Yeah, someone just knock it down.
I can't remember if Craig Elo was a 2 or a 3. Anyways, no, I like Doxson's game. He can get up. He'll elevate down there in the red zone. I don't think he's going to run all that fast, but he's very silky smooth and athletic. To me, we had a guy in Baltimore that never panned out, Demetrius Williams. He's like a much, much better version of a Demetrius Williams, a real slithery type of athlete. All right, let's go to the power forward here. For the 4, we'll go Laquan Treadwell. He's going to be our power forward. We can throw it down to him in the block. He can get us points whenever we want it. When you study him on tape at Ole Miss, not a lot of separation. But what he does, he's very physical at the line of scrimmage, and he's very physical at the catch point. Those 50-50 balls, he racks up a lot of production on those plays.
A lot of production. Tough. Coming back off a gruesome leg injury. Came back and manned the wide receiver 1 position for the Rebels. 6'2", 229 pounds. He's not going to run fast, but we talk about throwing the ball in there and allowing him to do work, kind of Charles Barkley-esque.
Let's go to the mailman.
In this thing.
You want to go with the mailman?
I mean, that's nice. You can put it behind his head and do his deal. Physical player, and he's going to have to play in a very physical style to get open consistently in the National Football League. Big-time player, but it's the ruggedness about his game that makes me believe that he can be a 4.
Yeah, he's got a little more offensive game than Anthony Mason, so we will stay. I'm going to go to the center position. I'm going to give you the floor here, Buck. We need some size. We need some height. We need some length at this position. Who we got?
Well, I mean, we can go with De'Runnya Wilson from Mississippi State. You're talking about 6'5", big physical presence, a guy that has 21 career touchdowns. There you see the stat, 6'5", 215 pounds. We understand once we get inside the 20, we can throw it up and let him to eat off those small cornerbacks' heads. De'Runnya Wilson is a guy that we can just throw it into. He is our version of DeAndre Jordan.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, he is raw when you study him. He's got a lot of work to do in terms of getting in and out of his breaks, but he can go down the field. He can go up over the top of you and make plays. A real flash player. You can put together 10, 15 plays of him, and you say, man, this is going to be a second-round pick. Now, I think he's probably going to be more in that fifth-round type area, but it's just a raw athlete with incredible size.
That size is going to be a factor. We've seen the matches. We saw how Plaxico Burress was able to dominate people on the outside, being like that. He doesn't move like Plaxico, but that size, that comparison, being able to score points in the red zone is going to help him in his evaluation.
He's no Swin Nader. I'm just throwing that out there. Even TD doesn't go back that far to know who Swin Nader is, but he's actually a family friend. So shout out to Swin out there at home. But that's our basketball team, building a basketball team of wide receivers. Will Fuller at the 1, Corey Coleman is shooting guard, Josh Doxson playing the 3 for us. Daquan Treadwell is our power forward, and the big man in the middle, the Runya Wilson.
The big thing for this is, who is the guy that gets his name called out last? Because when you have the starting lineups and we're running out, like, who is the last guy that runs out? Like, who's the guy that we're kind of building around? Who's our star? Who's the last one?
Who's the
to run
6'6" from North Carolina?
Yeah, who's the guy?
I have Coleman as my top guy, but I think that in terms of that alpha male that might be the leader of this team, it might be Laquan Treadwell, who plays with a little edge. He could be the last one out there. But here's a question: we didn't even have this on the list. Who's the microwave? Who's our sixth man?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I tell you what, I'm going to go, since I want a versatile guy, I'm going to go with Braxton Miller as my sixth man.
Okay.
Braxton Miller
coming heated up a little bit.
Come on, coming in, heating it up. He's my Nate Robinson. He's the game changer. I'm going to come in, we're going to go full court pressure. We're going to have him. He's going to take a lot of shots. It may be a make or miss type deal, but he's going to come and change up the energy, change up the flow. I'm going to go with Braxton.
All right, we know Matthew Deladova. All right, that's going to do it for our basketball-football crossover session right there. Let us know what you think of our basketball team on the comments. Give us some ideas of some players we may have missed, or maybe even go back in NFL history and make an all-time starting 5 basketball team. Could be a fun project for you there in the comments section. All right, Buck, let's move on now. We've both got mock drafts, something we love.
I mean, we absolutely love it.
Love them.
Like we
Can't
love
get
it.
enough of them.
You know what? I like doing this. I like doing it for the fans because what I like is I like putting out a mock draft and have everyone call me all kinds of crazy names.
I almost did this because on Instagram I followed our pastor of our church. I followed him on there, and he had just followed me back. So when I was Instagrammed out and I said this mock draft 2.0, I almost put in parentheses, please remember my pastor follows this feed with your comments.
Let's try and keep it clean.
Let's try and keep it PG here.
Let's try and keep it
But so far, the people have been good on my Instagram account.
How about that? I didn't know you were Instagramming and putting your mock draft.
I major in Twitter. I'm very much a minor in everything else.
Instagram for the young people. It's for the teenagers.
I don't want to take that many pictures
I just
of myself.
got on Instagram. Like my Instagram is Big Play Football. Like I just do it for the kids. But Instagram is for the kids. Twitter is kind of for like our thing, and Facebook are for our parents.
TD still does Facebook. He won't admit it. All right, let's go through our mock draft here, Buck. Let's work 5-1. And I'll start us off here with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I had them kind of lucking out in this situation, in this scenario. I have Joey Bosa falling to him.
Man, that's a huge surprise.
Joey Bosa I had going number 1 in my last
That's
one.
a huge surprise for Joey Bosa.
I have him
to be
slide to
available.
number 5, and now for a pass rush, you're going to get Joey Bosa. You're going to get Dante Fowler back, and now the Jaguars can go get some quarterbacks.
I mean, based on what we just did, that exercise with future rosters, if they were able to trot out a defense that had Joey Bosa on one side, Dante Fowler on the other side, maybe find someone at cornerback, that'd be a very, very good defense to complement what I think is going to be one of the more explosive.
All right, who you got? Who you got the Jags taking?
I'm going to go with Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey is my favorite player in this draft. I think he's a versatile player. He gives them something that they don't have, which is a Swiss Army knife in the back end. He can play outside. He can move inside to play slot. Also can play safety. He is the dude that I think they can build around. Gus Bradley's experience with the Legion of Boom could make him think about Jalen Ramsey.
All right, movie trivia. What's the name of the movie with Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger when they're in the movie together and they don't really look alike, but they're twins. They're twins, Buck. You don't remember that? They're twins.
I don't know.
Well, that's what we're going to be here on our 4th pick because we're twins. I got Miles Jack going to the Dallas Cowboys.
And I have Miles Jack.
And you have Miles Jack going to the Dallas Cowboys. So you kind of blew the whole Danny DeVito, Arnold Schwarzenegger thing.
I didn't know.
Watched
that.
a lot of movies in the 80s.
Fletch.
Buck.
If you had asked me about Fletch.
Oh, yeah. It's all ball bearings these days.
Yeah.
But Miles Jack, to me, you talk about versatile, explosive, dynamic, all those traits. He fits the bill. He'd be a great player there in Dallas.
Great player because he would be a good fit in Rod Marinelli's defense. They want players that can run and chase, create turnovers. He can do all that. You can stay in your base defense because he can cover slot receivers. Absolutely. Nice comparison. Derrick Brooks, make big plays. I think he's a good fit.
All right, let's move on now. Number 3, I've got your guy, your favorite player in the draft, Jalen Ramsey, going a little bit higher than you. I've got him going to the San Diego Chargers there. Chargers could look at a lot of different directions. In this situation, the big tackle from Ole Miss, Laramie Tunsil, was not available, so they look in the secondary. Lose Eric Weddle. Ramsey can play safety if you want him to. He could play corner. You've got some pieces in place there that I like. Verrett is a nice young corner. Now you throw Ramsey in that secondary. That's a good-looking group.
That's a really good replacement for Eric Weddle, because when I watched Weddle at Utah, he was a versatile player, kind of like that. Jalen Ramsey reminds me of that. He would be a nice ball hawk for the San Diego Chargers. I'm going to go a different route. I'm going to say in this scenario that Joey Bosa is available, and I'm saying that he can give them something that they don't necessarily have on the defensive line on the front. A versatile guy that can play inside and outside and do some things. He teams up with Melvin Ingram, gives them the ability to hunt the quarterbacks. We've seen the quarterbacks in the division want to knock them down.
I like that one. All right, let's move on. Number 2, Browns got to be quarterback, right? I had Jared Goff going there previously. Now I've got Carson Wentz, and really flip a coin, Buck. I think both guys can play. I think they both fit in Cleveland with that offense with Hugh Jackson, but I went with Carson Wentz. A little more size, a little bit more stability. I know he got nicked up a little bit this year, but when you look at holding up in a very physical division, playing in a lot of bad weather stadiums, I think size does matter.
I'm going to go with Jared Goff in that situation. Part of the reason Jared Goff, to me, is a better fit in this scenario is, look, cerebral playmaker, polished pocket passer. We saw what Hugh Jackson was able to do with Andy Dalton and some of the other quarterbacks that he's touched throughout his time. This is a really, really good player. I liken him to Matt Ryan. Gets the ball out. They have to surround him with some weapons on the outside. I like Jared Goff going there.
First overall pick again, Buck twins it up. We both have the big tackle, Laramie Tunsil from Ole Miss, going with that first overall pick to the Tennessee Titans.
The Tennessee Titans have to build around the quarterback. We've heard from ownership that it's about keeping Marcus Mariota protected. Get a left tackle that can make plays right away, that can snuff out some of those elite pass rushers. You put him at left tackle, then you can kick Taylor Lewan over to right tackle, protect the edges. This is a team that gave up 54 sacks, most in the National Football League. I want to make sure that Marcus Mariota is not taking a bunch of shots in the pocket.
Yeah, so when I look at this list here, we've got 4 of the same guys up there, and then just one different there. You have Goff going in the top 5. I have him going actually at number 7 to the San Francisco 49ers. You can find both of our mock drafts, by the way, on NFL.com/mock drafts. We've got a whole host of analysts doing mock drafts. You can get the rest of these mock draft 2.0s from Bucky and from myself. All right, Buck, that's going to do it for us today. We have so much content for you guys to check out, though. Make sure you're going to NFL.com/podcast. You'll see the Move the Sticks stuff there. Go to YouTube.com/NFL. Pump in Move the Sticks for all of our videos. And, again, be sure to leave comments down below. We've got Cam Newton 360 that's still out there, still getting a lot of views. People are checking that out for kind of a deep dive into Cam Newton. We've got a bunch of evergreen content.
Yeah, who would you rather have, Antonio Brown versus Odell Beckham Jr.?
We've got trying to
Von Miller,
quarterbacks. Who would you want for one play, one game, one season, all that. We got all kinds of content, video content you can check out. And we want to send a very, very special thank you to 2 guys that have really kind of helped this thing stay afloat during the fall here. Will Pyle is maybe as good as it gets. As good. He's not Luke Walton. He's Steve Kerr.
Oh, he's Steve Kerr.
He's Steve Kerr. He's done a fantastic job. We want to thank him very much for all the work that he's done. We appreciate you, Will. Nick Kahn has been working his butt off. We've got TD back there who's, when he shows
Mark
up.
Jackson.
When he shows up, he does a very nice job. On the off chance he actually does make it in here, we really appreciate all of his efforts. All the guys behind the glass, too many to mention. You guys all kick butt, and we thank you very much. And, again, our MVP, Will Pyle. Thanks, Will, for everything that you've done. And we will be back next week with some more Move the Sticks episodes, audio on iTunes and NFL.com/podcast. Then we'll have more videos coming your way from the Combine in Indianapolis on YouTube. Check us out. DJ Bucky, Move the Sticks. See you later.
Thanks for downloading Move the Sticks with Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks. For more, go to NFL.com/podcasts.